saw this, I believe, a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago with my wife.
So about probably the same time as me then. So this movie is not fresh. No, it definitely was a very different pace than the first one. I found it was more of a groaner, not as funny, more slow, drawn out. It was a very nice storyline. Propelled the whole monster-human relationship to a whole new level. But I find it really fell flat.
Absolutely. I'm glad you felt the same way because I definitely felt it. I remember watching the first one. I thought the first one was really good. I think part of the reason why the first one resonated so well with me was that you had these monsters being monsters. Now, I mean, granted, I mean, they had a lot of the jokes about these guys being middle-aged in the first one as well. But, I mean, you had the monsters who were feared humans. In this one, I mean, they're trying to go off and change, Drax' grandson, try to encourage him to become the monster that Drax is hoping he really is.
Yes, no, and, it definitely was really good. Oh, no, okay, not good, but decent enough. I find Adam Sandler is really bad for sequels. I can't think of any movie that he has done a sequel for that has actually done good.
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing, though. Hotel Transylvania, this is a movie that topped, was the top movie for like 2 or 3 weeks in a row so far. It's been a phenomenal movie.
Maybe we're just too old. Which is, I think, a huge possibility.
It could be, absolutely.
We are too old for movies like that now, which is really sad since the last one came out not even, a year, 2 years ago?
It was a couple years ago. I gotta say, I'm actually looking forward to the day where my son can sit through a movie like this.
I can't even sit through a movie like this.
But the reason why is, I actually enjoy going to movies like this with kids. I remember several years ago, and I've seen the Grinch, how the Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey. I didn't have a child with me at that time, but I went and saw.
That's not true. I think you went to see it with me.
No, actually, this is before I met you. Several years before I met you, actually. But I was sitting there with some friends, and I mean, it was I thought it was okay. It's an okay movie. And then I look over to my shoulder, and there's this little girl leaning over the chair next to me, just staring at the screen. And I thought, okay, that's the sign of a good movie.
That is going to be us on December 18th.
Oh, hells yeah.
We won't be leaning over the chair. I will be jumping into people's lap. It's like, hey, oh, wait, this is your seat. Oh, I'm sorry, I fell out of mine. I will literally be on the edge of my seat.
Absolutely.
For the entire, all 6 movies that I will be seeing.
Well, you know what, honestly, I think you and I, we need to go off and get together, and in preparation for The Force Awakens, we need to watch the first 6 movies, or at least all the movies except for Episode 1.
I completely agree, and we are also going to show our age by dressing up when we go to the movie.
I don't know if I'm really going to do that. I will be wearing a Star Wars hat. I will be wearing a Star Wars t-shirt. So if that counts as being dressed up, then hell yeah.
No, it does not.
Ugh.
That counts as being old. We can't let our age show. Come on, man, we got to act young.
This is about as acting young as I get these days.
The fact that we have been able to watch the premiere of a lot of them really says something.
Okay, consider this, again, I'm 10, almost 11 years older than you. And I hate to go off and admit that, but I really am. So, I don't remember, of course, Star Wars A New Hope came out a year before I was born, so do the math, people. You can figure out how old I am.
204.
I'm 900 years old, same as Yoda. But, I mean, I didn't get to see any of the original movies in theaters because I was so young. So I remember watching those the original movies on, VHS. And then I got them in DVD, and then I got them on Blu-ray. And after a while, I started shaking my fist of fury at George Lucas for going up and continuously changing them.
Yes. I remember 2 that I went to the premiere for. And those were the new trilogy, which was very unique. I dressed up on all of them. Never wear white to a premiere.
No kidding.
Really bad idea. You're talking about hundreds and hundreds of people in the theater, hundreds and hundreds of people outside of the theater, and tons of people everywhere else.
Yeah.
You are wearing white. It ain't going to be white by the time you're done.
No kidding. But you know what? Let's get back to the movie just quickly. You know, what did you give that? I just want to go up and say that for me, I really kind of sat on my hands almost the entire movie. It wasn't until about the last 10 to 15 minutes of the movie where, you know, the action just completely, you know, picked up that all of a sudden I felt my heart racing and said, okay, I wish they had done more of this in the movie.
I will give it, and this is being slightly generous, 2.5 stars.
And I will also give it 2.5 stars. It gets 2 stars alone just for the last 10 minutes. So that just tells you how I felt about the rest of the movie.
Yeah, no, it definitely wasn't the greatest.
Again, though, I mean, we're adults, and we didn't go off and see it with kids. I could honestly say if I saw it with a kid, you know, afterwards, you know, if they were like, yay, I probably would have been more psyched for it.
I took my grandma, and even she wasn't, yay! We both decided that afterwards we needed coffee to wake up.
Okay, quickly, I haven't seen this movie, but you saw Pan.
Yes, well, actually, that will be something we are going to bring up in our next show.
Oh, you want to bring it up? Yeah, okay, so we'll bring it up on our next episode, which will be coming out, of course, on Thursday.
On Thursday, which we will be talking about Thor Ragnarok, and that almost sounded bad.
Okay.
I play a game, and Ragnarok is something else. But anyways, and Pan, and whatever else tickles our fancy.
Yeah, well, no kidding. So I guess, guys, we'll kind of wrap it up. I guess there's one thing I'm surprised we actually did bring up in our segment about Gotham. For those people who aren't aware, Paul Rubin is going to end up playing the Penguin's father, and apparently will show up on this season.
Yes, Pee Wee Herman.
Pee Wee Herman, yes. Connected dots, la la la. Connected dots, la la la. Sorry, for some reason that was my favorite part of Pee Wee's Playhouse.
You know what the favorite part of Pee Wee's Playhouse of mine was? The very ending.
Right after, when the next show started, right?
Yes, absolutely. When the screen went black and you knew that you didn't have to put up with Pee Wee Herman's voice ever again. When they canceled that show, it was the best day of my life.
Yeah, unfortunately, the reason why they canceled it, was kind of bad. But we will never bring that up, hopefully. But you know what? It's time for us to, get this show, I don't know, time to shut her down, I guess. Why are you looking at me like that? I swear!
Because I look at you like this because I realize that I have nothing to say other than the fact that, yes, this Sunday, the premiere of The Walking Dead, which I believe you didn't watch.
I'm not even sure we have AMC.
I do watch it. I watch Walking Dead religiously. Every single week I PVR it and I watch it. So sometimes I end up watching every episode twice, plus The Talking Dead afterwards, which I actually will admit I passed out during. It was a phenomenal episode. It definitely took everything in a whole different aspect, and it definitely kind of opened your eyes on the amount of work that has to go into this episode. There was like thousands of zombies in one episode alone.
Well, I'll have to go off and try to catch up on some episodes.
The Talking Dead was actually saying that they set up like a car wash with all the makeup for the zombies, and they just walked them through. That's how they did all thousands of them with a car wash.
Oh, I absolutely would believe it. I've seen some episodes where there's been lots of zombies. I can imagine they would have to do something like that. Okay, again, I know tonight is the second episode of The Flash, as well as episode 3 for this season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm kind of psyched out about that. If I have time, I'll go off and probably watch one or the other before I go to bed. And for you video game lovers, particularly PlayStation 4, today was the day that they brought out Dragon Quest Heroes. And, being a fan of the franchise, I'm absolutely psyched about it. After the captain and I are done, I'm actually going to go pick up my own copy of this. So maybe next...
I, unfortunately, am too poor to afford the box that the PS4 comes in. No, I honestly have no desire to get a PS4. That's why I go to your place.
Well, there you go. I do have a couple of average games for the system.
Yes, average.
Average.
Anyways, you can follow myself on Twitter at RealCaptFizz, at RealCaptainFizz.
And I want to curse you right on the line here for going off and, cutting me off. But I do realize we need to get out of here, so you can follow this local fellow at That Mask Guy. And, of course, you can follow the show at FizzMash Show. We're also on Instagram. You can look us up as Fizz and Mash Show. Look us up on YouTube and maybe on Facebook. I'm not going to go off and give too much credit to that. It's the Captain Fizz at Mask Guy Show.
Facebook's overrated.
And we're also on Tumblr. On occasion.
When the tumbleweed
blows through. Usually has to do when, I don't know, when we go off and post pictures from our Instagram account. So, you know what? Thanks again for listening, ladies and gentlemen. And in the meantime, and in between time, and I'm sorry, I'll never go off and use that voice again online. I can't promise that. Good night, God bless, and may the force be with you. Always.
And as always, stay frosty, my people. Good night.
Good night, everybody.